Hey guys, what is up? This is John from 100% Mindset, and I got an awesome book today I want to talk about. It's called The Millionaire FASTLANE by MJ DeMarco, and this one is in my top probably 5, at least top 10. I mean, this one really changed the way I started thinking, and it was laid out in a really cool way in like laws and kind of like mathematical terms that would really open your mind and also make it easy for you to follow. That, you know, there's certain things that if you follow, the probability is much greater that you might get rich or you might reach your goals or both. And it's a pretty involved book. I got the whiteboard here. I want to talk to you a little bit about MJ. He's an interesting cat because he's not really on social media. He's not really like doing the book tours. He's self-published. I think he owns the rights. He has a lot of self-help books from other folks on Vesperion Publishing. He's an FBA seller. He sells this book himself, you know. He's into like control and not, he calls it a hitchhiker technique when you're riding the wave of, you know, Shopify or Amazon FBA, and they hold the purse strings, they hold the control, and they can, you know, kick you off of their platform or, you know, do damage to you for no good reason, or a competitor can give you false copyright claims or knock you off of your street corner in digital you know, e-com land. But anyways, let me tell you about MJ. He's basically a self-made guy. He was from Chicago, Illinois. He had a degree from University of Illinois. I think it was in English Lit, and he was living in his mom's basement in Chicago, which was interesting. It talks a little bit about the book. He was driving for a limo company. He knew a lot about limousines, and he was thinking for a split second about, you know, buying like a limo fleet or getting into that business. And what actually turned him into a self-made guy was he, in the early days, it was probably like the 90s, was had a database of, you know, limousines, limo services in the Chicago area. Mostly his niche was airport, you know, transportation, how to get a ride to and from the airport in the greater Chicago area. And he started compiling data of all the other companies, and he had like a list. It was basically like, you know, in the 90s, he just had like kind of a list of how you could book these appointments online. And then eventually he would sell ads at the top bar or the bottom for, you know, call this 1-800 number and book your limo service. Like, he would sell ads. He would also sell, you know, get a commission for whoever booked their limousine through his page. And this was his claim to fame. He kind of used that later on and sold the little company of just, you know, his limousine services listed online. All the kind of like, you know, right after the Yellow Pages was kind of going down, and people were moving online, and, you know, he compiled this list in the early days, and it started to gain popularity. And long story short, he sold it for not much money. I think it was in the 100,000, and he ended up moving to Phoenix, Arizona. He had the money, and he tells a story about like being, I think, sitting in his limo on Christmas Day, and there was a massive snowstorm, and he was kind of stuck in Chicago. He couldn't really do anything. He couldn't really go home. He couldn't really, and it dawned on him, like, why am I doing this, you know? So he picked up and moved to Phoenix, Arizona. And like I said, he sold that service, got a little bit of money, and he was off to the races. And so in this book, he says, you know, do what you love is BS. It will not make you rich. He talks about hitchhiker tactics, which I mentioned, or Shopify and Amazon FBA. You totally don't have control over those folks. You know, they can kick you out of there at any time. So he calls those hitchhiker techniques. He talks about mathematical process and ways to improve the odds of becoming a millionaire or making money. You know, this is all in the book. It's pretty enlightening. He also talks about process. Being a millionaire or getting rich or making money, whether it be online or, you know, coming up with an idea like his limo page. It's a process, folks. There's no event, you know. I'm an FBA seller, and for some reason I thought, oh, as soon as I get 2 products, this event, you know, will make me financially secure. It's not. It's a process of every day of learning this skill and learning how to become more and add value and learn the copy writing skills for these, and also the photos have to be top notch. And you know, people think, oh, I take this course, I'm going to be an FBA seller, and bam, you know, he talks about that in the book. It's never an event, guys. It's always a process. And you know, that's little known fact, but that's a secret to success. It's a process. Learn to love the process. You know, it takes time. It's what you become. You develop into this person that's worth massive value, that's worth you know, millions of dollars later on. After you become these things, you get knocked down and come back up and learn these skills, these high income skills. It's never an event, guys. That's what hammered home in the book. That's what really opened my eyes. He talks about, you know, becoming rich while using fast lane techniques. He's not an advocate of like Dave Ramsey, where you know, you work and you invest in the index fund and you cut out the latte coffee, and eventually, you know, this all adds up. Like he says in this book that these people, they don't practice what they preach anyways. They're making money off books or their radio or their podcast. They're not cutting out the latte. They're not waiting 40 years. He talks about becoming rich while you're young. You know, not while you're in the friggin' wheelchair or in the retirement home, and after 40 years of all this struggle, you might have $1 million. You know, he's more like talking about 5 or 10 million, you know, while you're 30, 35. He's semi-retired, guys. He's the administrator of FASTLANE Forum. You know, it's kind of like a forum before social media and before Facebook and all that, where people would banter about, you know, entrepreneurial things or you know, money-making things on a forum. So he's the administrator of that. He started that. It's up today. FASTLANE Forum. He talks about back in the early days, he alone answered anytime somebody made a post, he physically would type in thousands of responses, guys. Like, he would be the only one on this forum to you know, kind of banter back and forth. Like right now it's got over, I think it says 45,000 members and counting. They all talk to each other. He's just the administrator, but it was interesting. He also talks about in the book the law of victims, which he says you will never get anywhere if you're in the victim mentality. You know, he talks about they laid me off. They changed the terms of the agreement. They cheated me. They raised my rent. They raised my interest rate. You can never be like that, guys. You can never play the victim. It's gonna get you absolutely nowhere. They didn't do anything, okay? You did it. You're in control. And if you're not in control, you got to take control, okay? You will never become wealthy. You will never get your stuff together if you play the blame game, if you're the victim. Even if you got allergies, man, you go to the gym anyways, you go to work anyways, you grind hard anyways, okay? These are the people that win. You can never be a victim of anything. Take full responsibility for everything, folks. Okay, back to the book. I want to talk about, he talks about selling that page, that limo page, where it was like kind of an index right up to the yellow pages of all the limo companies in greater Chicago area for like a couple $100,000, all right? Then the new owners like fouled it up and it started tanking. He saw this. He was like, you know, still watching the page. He was in Phoenix, Arizona at this point. he bought the company back. Okay, so this is how he talks about systems and process. So he bought the company back, and with his skills and knowledge, again, built it back up even stronger. Okay, and made his big payoff later, where he sold it new and revised, you know, after he bought it back. This is a phenomenal story. It's all in the book. He sold it again for like $5 million, and that's where he really, you know, hit the payday. And the whole time he's writing this book, he's pretty much low-key guy. He's makes his money from the FASTLANE forum, the book Millionaire FASTLANE. He's got another book out now. It's called Unscripted, which is excellent. I'll review that one later. And he got this big payday from selling this limo page, you know, twice, and really got paid the second time. So he's all about systems and process and manipulating, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, manipulating the terms of, you know, information. You know, he was thinking in the early days about buying a limo fleet. That would have been like, you'd have to buy tires, you'd have to buy transmissions, you'd have to clean up puke in the limos, you know. He talks about in this book how you gotta engineer your thoughts to like, how can I use my expertise to not be the owner, not hire the mechanics, not have the fleet, but have the page where I list all the, you know, the services, and I provide a bar for advertising, and I provide a way you can check out right on my site and book a thing right from your home, so you know you have a limousine to pick you up from the airport or drop you off from the airport at a given time. And he works with all these other companies that all benefit too. So there was huge value, and he that's why he bought it back, because he saw the value, and he re-engineered it to where it was worth even more. And today it's probably worth even more. So he's an advocate of these ideas are what is going to make you money, not the fleet, not buying the restaurant, not sitting there and cooking and paying all the taxes and regulations that your state requires. He's talking about doing things to where you make money in your sleep. You remove the money from your time. You know, these people are booking the limos all night long, and he's still getting paid. People are buying advertising all day, 24 hours on his site, and he's getting paid. Same with the Millionaire FASTLANE. He's got banner ads. He gets paid from that. Same with the book. He talks about the book. It costs him, because he's the publisher, something like $5. It sells for $14 on Amazon. So he's constantly boxing up these books and, you know, sending them more into Amazon, and he's getting paid while he sleeps. The book is selling. People are ordering the book today, folks. And it's a fascinating book. It really opened my eyes. It really helped me. That's why I want to review it, because I know if you're in, you know, the self-help and finance, you know, you're hungry for that kind of information, this book is on the top of the list. This book has concepts and, like I said, mathematical ways of you can really up your game and hopefully be in the Millionaire FASTLANE.